Peace.
I was supposed to say Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, sister.
I was about to say, did I say that right?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
Beautiful. Yeah. Walaikum salam. Walaikum salam.
Say the last one.
Walaikum salam is the return.
Malaikum salam.
Walaikum salam.
Walaikum salam.
Yeah, walaikum salam.
Walaikum
So
salam.
assalamu alaikum is peace unto you, and walaikum salam is and unto you.
I like that.
Yeah, I like it too.
I should
it's
teach
fun.
that to my kids.
It's fun. Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. And it's funny in the nation, our we practice our Islam. That's like we don't practice too much Arabic. That's like the only Arabic we really like say. Sometimes we'll say like alhamdulillah, but that's not really.
I've heard of that
We're
one.
mostly say all praise is due to Allah. All praise is due to Allah. And then assalamu alaikum, that's our thing. We really harp on that, which is, I just like it. So on a question, I just do it.
I mean, peace unto you. That's a really
Nice.
That's a really nice thing to say to somebody.
Way to greet an open dialogue.
Yeah.
Peace.
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 Peace. Peace.
Now what do we need to talk about? Right? So as opposed to howdy, how you doing?
You're right.
For real.
That would be me. Sometimes I don't know how to come into a conversation.
Yeah.
Mostly because I think I'm overthinking.
Exactly. But that brash directness in your face is like, no, just peace. I acknowledge you. I see you. Peace be on you. Now let's get to business. Right? So that pretty much opens up the essence of like what I view the kingdom as, just as peace. Peace of mind. Why do you have to start off with interrogation or just analytic dialogue about the weather and do and all that? Just peace, bro. Peace. It's your boy.
Is it really?
Yeah, I think so.
Like as soon as we start, you were not playing.
I'm not playing.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like that.
That's insane.
Yeah.
They're smart.
They are very smart and annoying and obnoxious.
I got
They
you.
hang out right here, so I
Understood.
haven't gone full Terminator in a while, but I'm gonna go in Terminator mode soon. So
I feel it.
as of right now, they're just part of the scenery. But that being said, I'm gonna open this up. We open up a piece. Let's open up in prayer.
Yes, sir.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful. All praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, and Master of the Day of Judgment. Thee alone do we serve. Thee alone do we beseech for divine aid. Guide us on the right path, the path upon whom thou hast bestowed favors, not upon whom thy wrath has been brought down, nor upon those who go astray. Ameen.
Amen.
But yeah, when I was saying the Ascension episode 87 is the year of my birth. What does that have me thinking? 87. Rebirth. And there's a dream I had where it's like the first time me and Timu actually went to the streets. Black Market Flea and actually our campaign went public, right? And we actually just took our relationship to more business as opposed to just popping off on a mic. But that night we went to Black Market Flea and we just so happened to take a dope picture with Imani and started talking about, the future and like we're all going to be there. That night I had a dream where Timu and myself were getting into an elevator to the 87th floor. 87th floor. We got out and all we saw was just a sea of Asians working. Just working. Sitting down at their desk, working. That was it. That was a dream. So going up. Up is usually a good thing. You're going up. Ascending. Right? To the 87th floor. Year of my birth. A day that we had just worked, pounded the pavement and worked, sold plants, sold essential oils, and actually just see what our energy is like interacting with Gen Pop, with general public. Then open up and all we see is the Asians sitting down, going to work. Keep quiet, keeping to themselves, humbly working, but a whole bunch of them. Like you open up, it was just a sea. Like, whoa. It's a lot of Asians working. It's funny. It was very discreet. It was specific. I would say probably just given. It seemed Koreans, maybe. I don't know. That's the vibe I got. But
So what's your interpretation of it?
we went up. We ascended.
And what about
to the work?
The Asian. Wait, is it just the earth? Well, okay, got you. That was your.
We went up, but it's like, okay, cool. You guys did it, but welcome to the work.
Okay.
Welcome to the work.
Okay, got it. Received.
Oh yeah, cool. Congratulations, you guys did your thing. Now get to work.
This is the beginning.
This is your rebirth. 87 rebirth. You're going up. You did it. You ascended now. Do like the Asians do, and get to fucking work.
Okay, that was
seriously
my
and
connection.
I've taken that. It's like you see the culture of Asian immigrants is very much just like they get to work. They wake up early. They drive their Lexus sedan, set up shop, trap all day, go home, have dinner. Kids go to school, end up going to UCLA. Right? It's very. Their ritual for success is very cultural, right? And it's a style of work it's not flashy, just humble for the most part. There's obviously exceptions to there's flashy ass Asians, but you get what I'm saying. It's like I'm talking about not our generation. I'm talking about the generation of the children our age, their parents and their grandparents, dry cleaners, nail shops, convenience stores. Like that type of hustle, that type of grind, where no one's watching. You waking up at 4 a.m. to go to the store, and wifey's working. You guys are switching shifts. You guys barely see each other. Sometimes you had other families. Someone lives at the convenience store. That type of grind, where you're getting steady bread, and you're building something for your family, and you're not going to realize the actual fruit of that labor until your children go to college, and then you see them elevating to the next level. So it's a sacrificial hustle that requires a level of patience and humility to submit to the process, as opposed to impatient exertion backed by greed to get as much money as possible in the short term to buy material things to flash on TV and stunt on other people. So it was really God Allah showing me the psychology required to get to sustain that level. Would be cool. He's like, you guys worked. You guys finally went to work. You stopped talking. You took the talking to action. But now you got to be consistent and patient and steadfast and humble, because there was nothing, it wasn't like, there was nothing flashy about that dream, about the 87th floor. It was, I liked it because I'm very structured and I like form. It was ordered. Like there was rows upon rows of Asian bodies working. So I liked like the militancy of it all, but it wasn't flashy. Just like the work required. This kingdom building is not flashy. You're not going to be pulling down lightning bolts from the sky and doing all that. No, nothing. Just get to work within your lane. Right? My lane's administration. I put things in spreadsheets and tell people how much to spend, and build systems, build departments, set up flows of processes and procedures, and make sure things run right. That's what I do. That's my lane. So it's incumbent upon everyone who sees where the kingdom is. It's like, okay, what's your lane? Get to work. Don't go outside of your lane. And last night, this is kind of a continuing conversation. I talked to you before we started about how you can't fight to avoid the real fight. Because the real fight is not outside. The real fight is not someone in 4-ounce gloves trying to kill you. The real fight is not a punching bag. The real fight's internal. So if you're using external targets to avoid confronting the fight within, you can only do that for so long before you get burned, before the internal turmoil just destroys you. So it's Ramadan season. I'm still doing my Ramadan. I'm continuing my fast. It's 30 days. I'm probably going to do 40.
Okay.
So I'm still on it right now. But that's what Allah told me. Is like, hey, bro, like I never said be MMA fighter. I never said be a professional MMA fighter. This is what you do. You're an administrator. I put you here for that. You're good at building systems and putting people together. Don't get off that square. But also utilize the technique of fighting. Apply that to the world and keep fighting. Just don't drop everything and only do that. Because that's not your purpose. And that's you not confronting the real fight. And we've all got a real fight within, right? All of us. That's life. And the nature of anxiety is such that you get anxious the more you're, well, I'll speak for myself, the closer proximity you are to the fight within, whether it's family trauma, the more anxious you get, because it is these traumas that have racked up in your track record that have that disallow you from really executing your path, your purpose, because you're holding on to this pain. And so by going around the pain and not confronting the pain and actually like, okay, where did that come from? You're not allowing yourself to extract the full potential of who you are. My experience, at least. And I'm still working on all of those things. And God is showing me dreams about, yeah, man, this childhood stuff that you're not looking at is affecting your ability to relate with the mother of your children. You're repeating generational cycles because of it. And now your children are privy to the generational traumas that you're unwittingly passing on because you're not confronting what's happening. Because you out here fighting niggas all the time. Good job. Bravo. But what's up, bro? Fight you. Not in a bad way. Confront is really the word, right?
Face.
Look at. Look at.
Be open.
Yeah.
I think to do that, we have to come from a loving place, which I think where, as we were talking about before about mantras and things, me learning what God really means to me and having to heavily reflect on that and to see how in the ways that I wasn't acting in a godly way. And it was it's a lot of reflection. It's a lot of I think the time that I started to like really be able to go past it, like I said, is when I started going really deep in my faith, really deep in either prayer or talking to God daily. Like there was some time that I was only either praying over just my food and before I went to bed. None of that's negative or bad.
No.
It was just my process of learning how that relationship looked based off of what I was taught when I was younger. But through learning and doing that, more stuff kept getting guided to me.
That's right.
And I started to look at things that I originally looked at as obstacles, as trauma, as struggles, or as something that was trying to keep me down or the devil or whatever. I started to recognize them as almost a place of practice. And that has like transformed my life in so many different ways. Because when I start to feel old feelings coming back or old thought patterns coming back, I go into my prayer more. I'm starting to learn, like, let's say, like how we were talking about the mantra Hare Krishna. Yeah. Like that one, it took me some time before I was able to receive that was okay for me to do.
I understand.
I had to fully kind of like understand, investigate for myself of what it meant. And that's not to say that I could sit here and be like, hey, this word means this and this word means that. I know that when I studied it and when I looked at it, it was nothing for me to be afraid of. Yeah, and it was something for me to be receiving of. And I was like, well, if that's supposed to be the way to get the highest in closeness to God, that's what I want.
Yeah.
And if that's my intention, right? Like you can pray it and that those could be the only words that you say. And you could, how do I explain this? So I told you about, I'm sorry if I'm jumping everywhere. So it just reminded me of a story that Nikki Walton said. It was based off of somebody else that said it.
Yeah.
It was like a mother came upon her child who was saying A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and it was going all the way down the line. And they just kept repeating it. And the mom goes over and is like, what are you doing? Like, why do you keep saying the alphabet over and over again? And he was like, I'm praying. And she was like, that is not a prayer. And then he's like, it is, because I don't know what words that I'm trying to use, but God knows.
Ooh.
So I'm giving him the alphabet so that he can form what I'm supposed to be saying.
Bars.
So
Man.
With me explaining
Amen.
that,
Amen.
right, after she said that, it was like a light bulb went off in my head. And I had an experience today where I was starting to say the mantra, and I could just, it's like the words weren't coming to my mind, but I knew exactly. It's like how people talk about like talking in tongues kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
It was like that sort of experience where it's like my emotions were going up and down with the different things. Like sometimes if I was feeling angry, and then I would go into sadness, and then I would go at peace, and I would just go in this wave. But how I was saying it was going in that rhythm without me having to think about what it meant. But it's like I knew God knew.
Yeah.
What I was praying for.
Yeah.
Without me knowing. And it was, you know what I mean? And like, it's just such a, basically praying and doing the mantra work and having self-reflection and really taking a pause and sending love to myself, my younger self, because like I've told you before, we have all our stages in us.
That's right.
All their different ages in us. They don't just go away just because we pretend and act like they're not there. You know what I mean?
Nope.
And not just that, like me as a woman, I know that when my mother had me, and when I was in my mother's womb, I already had my eggs, right? Because we're born with our eggs. Mm-hmm. So anything that she was experiencing was transferred onto me as well. And then that gets transferred onto my eggs. And it's just like a trickle down effect. So when you just start to realize that like you're handling a whole lot of stuff that you may not even understand, you have to pause and you have to self-reflect and you have to be open and put love into yourself and have that connection with God, because you can get lost.
That's right.
And you can become like how people say, like, of this world. Everything just becomes of everything that we see externally and not what's within. It's easy to get distracted nowadays.
Yeah.
Like before, you did not have that time. You wonder what, like, kids are always like, I'm bored if the Wi-Fi is not working.
Yeah.
It's like they've never had to sit there by themselves. Like, I had my kids today. They were like, we're at a hotel and we were changing the stations. Mm-hmm. They're not used to that, right? It's Netflix, Hulu, Disney, and all that stuff. They're like, can you change it to the shows that we like? Can we just pick another show? I'm like, that's not how this works. How it works. You can flip through the channels and see what you like the best out of everything that's there. But I don't want to watch the news, baby. If that's what's there, that's what's there. It's either that or you have to figure out something else.
You turn it off, you do something else.
Exactly.
You go to the pool.
But I think it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like we could shut off all those distractions and then go within. But we spent so much time practicing up until the point that we are now. Yeah. Of avoiding. Right? Avoiding. And you have to think, like, everything goes back to your parents as well.
That's right.
And like your interaction with them, how we react to things isn't just because how we wanted to react to things. It's how we experienced life.
That's right.
While we were learning and observing and ingesting and all that, you know? So it's like, you have to unpack a lot if you want to get to any further. And another thing that I've just learned recently is ascending feels the same as depression.
Ooh, go on with that, because you're right.
So I'm going to be meeting up with this person soon because I really need to dive deeper into that. And I need to ask questions.
What you just said really resonated with me this week. is real. Mm-hmm. I can't explain it, but I just know what you said is true. So I want you to be able, hopefully you can articulate why that is so true.
Well, sadly, I only got like a really quick glimpse of it, but basically it's like, when you have depression, you kind of just feel like everything's falling around you.
Yeah.
You feel lost and all that type of stuff.
You don't have the willpower to go out there and execute. You're just like,
like that. And then like things don't feel right.
Yeah,
like everything just feels wrong.
Feels wrong.
Feels wrong. And when you're ascending, everything feels wrong.
Yeah.
Things don't feel like they're lining up. Things, because your whole world is shaking.
Yeah.
When you're ascending, you're not comfortable. Like, it's a shakeup of your comfortability, right?
That's right.
It's like you have to come up out of your comfortability or your comfortable zone in order for you to get to the next stage.
For real. No, that makes sense. That makes mathematical sense. Like, it's like you're used to that level, even though that level not where you want to be, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, obviously it's going to be uncomfortable going to another. Wow, that's
not
pretty
just
simple.
That, right? Things be simple. Okay.
It's like, yeah.
Have you ever thought about
discomfort.
ever thought about the fact that, how people's like, oh, you're mad at God, but you asked for this? And you're
Facts,
just like,
no,
I did not ask for this to happen. I didn't ask for this person to break up with me, or I didn't ask for that car accident, or I didn't ask for this. It's like, but you asked for something to leave your life so you can get closer to over here. Mm-hmm. You asked to have less distractions, so something got put in place so you would have less distractions.
That's right.
You asked to be put in a new home, so you had to be put out your old home to get into your new home.
Yeah.
So you be thinking that things are bad and negative.
Or a bad relationship to get into a new one.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And you never know what that new relationship is supposed to be. Maybe that new relationship is supposed to be God.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Maybe that new relationship is supposed to be with yourself. Maybe that new relationship is supposed to be with your child, your uncle, your daddy, your mama,
that's right,
your grandmother, whoever. Like, you don't know. You don't know.
You don't know. You don't know. But it's going to take the process of extracting you out from a situation that you're comfortable with, even though you don't like it, is going to be uncomfortable.
But the reason why it's uncomfortable is because we're so resistant to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, if we just let it flow, understand, this comes from childhood, but I'm like, I had extreme like control issues.
Yeah.
And I didn't see them as control issues before. I didn't know why I was feeling the way I was feeling and going through the experiences that I was going through, and why stuff was so hard for me to adapt to and change and alter. And that stuff creeps up, I understand, with stress now. So it's like, I have to be aware. It's like, okay, now that's stress. That's not, I'm just feeling this way and I don't understand anymore. Like that, I'm aware now. So now that I'm aware, I don't have to go through all these different stages. I don't have to go through all these different actions. It doesn't mean I never do, because I'm still growing and learning. And I've had 33 years to get to this point, and this, I mean, I think I've been working it all my life. I think I've been praying about it all of my life, from the point where I knew to pray. I was always asking for guidance.
Yeah.
And I was always praying for everybody.
Yeah.
And
that's been your theme?
That's been my theme. And I find, so when you talk about, staying in your lane or like doing what you're supposed to be doing, it's like, I often ask myself, like, God, well, what am I supposed to be doing? What am I good at? What am I this and that? And it's like, I think I know, but I'm fighting it because I'm afraid that maybe I'm not good. Maybe he chose the wrong one. Maybe I'm thinking that I'm this and I'm not that. Like your MMA fighting.
Yeah.
Maybe I think that I'm supposed to be an MMA fighter and I'm not an MMA fighter.
Exactly. Yeah. No, for real.
This is like literally what I feel sometimes. Just like, what if I think that this is the lane that I'm supposed to be going and I really start going for it, and then something's going to slap me in the face and I'm going to look at that as a failure and be like, you know what? This is why I don't do stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like, but I know what feels right when it happens. So I don't know why I'm so resistant to it. I don't know if it's because I feel like it's a very heavy thing to navigate. Maybe I feel stressed that if I'm not at that certain level all the time to be able to navigate that, then I'm not the one to be doing it. But also trying to remember that I've been told and heard this multiple times, especially in the last year, is like, your journey is your testimony.
Oh, facts.
Your life is your testimony.
That's right.
It's like, if you're perfect, nobody sees themselves as perfect, right? Realistically,
No.
we might say it, we might act like it, but we don't, because none of us are perfect. So if you try to sit here, like how I've tried to do all my life, is I was told that all eyes were on me. This is probably why I have so much resistance. All eyes are on me. So based off of whatever I do, everybody else is going to follow. And it's like, so if I ever messed up, my dad.
Oh, okay. I understand.
So I'm an oldest of 6.
Authority told you that.
Yeah. So I'm the oldest of 6. So that weighed heavy on me.
Yeah.
So I never wanted to like do anything. But if I would do something, it would be in secret. And I would never want anybody to find out. And then I would carry a lot of guilt from it. And it's just like, you have to release that. Like, you have to let that go. Even that mentality, I have to let that go. Because I need to do me. I need to do myself. And when I'm tapped into. And with that I just need to exist. And this experience that I was telling you about before, where I currently am, I just need to exist. I just need to stay true to myself. And if I stay true to myself, that is my job.
That's right.
How somebody said is me existing is just revolution, is my revolution, or is revolutionary.
Absolutely.
Because I exist, because I am here.
You're still here.
You know what I mean? So it's like, if I tap into that experience, all that ties back to God. You know what I mean? Absolutely. It's like, we all have a meaning to being here. We all play a part.
Yes, we do.
We weren't all taught that we played a part. We weren't all loved, and you know what I mean? But it's like, you could only be so mad at people that weren't able to give what they didn't have, you know?
That's right.
And I've grown to have like a lot of forgiveness for my parents and a lot of understanding, you know, for them and their experiences. I had a talk with my dad that ended with an argument and me like in tears, because I was so frustrated, because I'm like, I don't understand why it's so hard to have a conversation with you. And back in the day, I would have been like, I'm not talking to you for a while. And I would just stop talking to my dad for like 6 months, a year, and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And especially after I had kids, I was like, I ain't got time. If that's how you want to be and that's how you feel, then you could go sit over there and then we'll just be apart for a bit. And then when I feel like in my spirit that we should talk again, then I will.
I understand.
And I think that was a way for me to learn boundaries. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I could have definitely looked at this conversation as, you know, this is why I don't talk to my dad.
I understand. But
then I had to also listen to what he was saying and when he was trying to say it, and even under his words. And it's like everything that he ended up texting me like a whole long thing. And I was just like, oh my God, we're so much alike. And I was just like, you know what? You have done a lot to help us, and you love and you show love in a certain way, and that is your way. And I can't sit here with you being at the level that you are, and I see the level that you are, and it's not bad at all, but you cannot give me what I'm asking for.
Yeah.
So I need to give that to myself.
Yeah.
And in order to give me to myself, what I need to do is resolve any anger, any upset or discomfort or betrayal or whatever I'm feeling, and be like, you know, it's okay. I don't know what you've gone through. I don't know what you've felt. I don't know what you're not facing. I don't know what you're hearing from me when I speak. But I'm not the same person that I was. And I probably won't be the same person 10 years from now.
That's right.
And I'm okay with that, because I am growing and I am ascending and I am getting closer to God.
That's right.
And what he has for me. And what that says is, I still have a relationship with you. And literally like 2 days later, I messaged him about something that was completely unrelated that he had been asking me for. And it ended in a thanks. And then the next times that I talked to him were very peaceful.
Good.
And so like, to me, it's this learning and growing experience. And when I started to bring it back to control, when I started to release that control and thinking that I needed to have control over everything. And an example of that, because I know it's hard for people, you know, when they listen to something, they're like, do I? And in my example, it's like, let's say I planned a day the whole day is supposed to be set up. We're supposed to ride the train. We're supposed to go get ice cream. And then after the ice cream, we're supposed to take a walk. And then after we take a walk, maybe we go get a bite to eat. And then from there, we end up at the beach and we hang out. And that's what's supposed to happen. But the start of the day, we start running behind. Everybody's kind of tired. Kids are cranky. So that's starting to get frustrating and irritating because you're not getting stuff done as soon as you want to. And then finally, when you get on the train, it's crowded. A lot of noise. You're getting irritated. It's kind of hot. The day was warmer than you expected, and you brought way more sweaters than you should have. You get to the ice cream shop. It's closed. And you feel frustrated because you're like, my whole point was to bring us over here to have ice cream. Now we don't have ice cream. Now the kids are crying and all this type of stuff, right? So it all starts to feel like just the ways to just piss you off.
Exactly.
And everything just... You're very just angry because nothing's going how you want it to go.
Nothing's going your way.
Nothing going my way. But then what you didn't realize was that on that train ride, your child noticed somebody was playing with a certain thing and they thought that was cool. There was music playing that they had never heard before. Or when you got to the ice cream shop, there was actually an event that was going on that day that you should have been walking to, but because you were so tied up and the day not going the way that you were, you got pissed off. You're like, you know what? You ruined everybody's day. You gave everybody attitude. You were like, no, we just going home. Yeah. And you missed out on this whole beautiful event because you thought you were supposed to be going over here. But what God was telling you is like, we're going to re-navigate. We're not doing this anymore. We're going this road because this is where you're supposed to be. Yep. You're supposed to be going to meet this and talk to this person. You're supposed to be coming in awareness of this. You know what I mean? You're supposed to be more patient. You're supposed to be more calm. Maybe if you were more chill, this experience wouldn't be so frustrating, so overwhelming, so ugly. Maybe you just realize like, oh, if there are 2 more stops, everybody would have been off and you would have had the train to yourself. Exactly. You get what I mean? Like
I do.
That
it's like a trap. You're trapping yourself with your stubborn, your intention, and then stubbornness.
Yes.
As opposed to submitting to the flow of Allah, to the will of Allah. Just okay. You can have intention, but once you feel it's going a certain way, just take a step back and be objective. Like, okay, what's really going on here? How do I redirect? And then I think calling on Allah. That's where prayer comes. Okay, what's up? What's the play? What's the play?
Honestly, I think that's what it is.
All right, what's the play, bro?
Because every time I do that, every time I go to prayer or I go to mantra, literally something else would switch up and it'll change. Sometimes I'll feel so deep in despair and I'll pray and I'll actually release like what I'm feeling. Like one time I learned the prayer of like, Jesus Christ, have mercy on me. That was it. Jesus Christ, have mercy on me. Oh, wow. And I was driving. My son was in the back seat, and I was feeling really overwhelmed about finances. And I was like, I don't know how we're going to do this. Yeah. And I'm really starting to get frustrated. I'm starting to lose faith because not faith in God, but like, am I doing something wrong? Like, what am I not doing, or what am I doing that's causing this? Like, I don't get why I keep getting these blocks, and I'm talking to him. And I'm just like, I don't understand. And then I was like, you know what? I was like, I don't like this feeling that I'm having. I've been working so hard not to be in this place, God. And I was just like, Jesus Christ, have mercy on me. Jesus Christ, have mercy on me. And I started saying it louder, Jesus Christ, have mercy on me. And I started going to this wave, like I started crying, like, Jesus Christ, please have mercy on me. And I started saying it like louder and more passionate and more passionate and more passionate. And then I ended up at work and I was just like, I took a deep breath in. I was like, ooh. And then I started going into my mantra. And then like after that, it was just like, it was the Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama.
This was before I learned the Hare Ram part.
Oh,
so it's just Hare Krishna. So I didn't even know the mantra. I just knew Hare Krishna. So I would just say Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Like I was just saying my own thing and be like, it just, it was just my way of like, I'm starting to feel out of control and I need something higher than me to feed into me. And I was just like, I don't like feeling like this. And like literally after I took my deep breath and I came outside, like all of it was gone. Yeah. All of the feelings that I was feeling was gone. Everything, like I started affirming myself. I was like, I am abundant. Yeah. I have everything that I need. My family is never lacking. We, I just started naming all these things. We're able to pay our bills. We're able to not only fund that, but be able to take our children out and do different things that we want to do with them. Our children never feel like they are missing out on anything. They have the clothes on their back. They have shoes. Like, I just started naming all these things. And then from there, I started going into gratitude. I said, like, thank you, God. Thank you, God, for waking me up this morning. Thank you, God, for waking my children up this morning. Thank you, God, for my child feeling better today.
Boom.
Thank you, God, for letting me have 2 legs, 2 feet, 2 hands, 2 arms, a head, a mind. I'm like, thank you for letting me have this awareness of you, Jehovah God, because I was lost before this. Thank you, God. Thank you, God, for letting me have these experiences that I've had already, that I'm learning. Thank you for me having the opportunity to learn, because I know there's other people that have not had that or have lost their lives and can no longer learn. I don't know what comes after this, but I thank you for me being in the place that I am now, because I'm a lot further than I was. And it's like, and I went into that, and then I was just like, I was so amazed with how my whole perspective of the day changed.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I was like, it's all mindset.
It's all mindset.
It's all mindset.
It's all mindset.
And then what I also learned through Nikki Walton and through her teachings and what she's read, and you have to, like, I'm not really good at names of like the different authors, but she talks about the Bhagavad Gita.
Bhagavad Gita.
She talks about that. She talks about other like spiritual like leaders and just commentary that like has touched her. And she was like, I need to share this. Different books she'll like tell you and stuff, or refer you to. And she was reading one. She said that the mind is never in peace. Like, you never have peace of mind, because the mind is disturbance. So you're never going to come in peace of mind. So if you could get past that, right?
Yeah.
And then she always tells you, listen to the silence. And I used to be like, girl, what are you talking? What silence? And she would pause. And I'll be like, that noise that I'm hearing, like, that's the silence. And then when I kept practicing, even though I didn't know what I was looking for. I didn't know what it felt like. I didn't know what it looked like. I started to feel peace in myself. I felt the silence.
Yeah.
My mind I didn't hear my mind anymore. I felt calm in my body. I have struggled with anxiety. I've never taken pills or anything, but I have struggled with anxiety for mine as far back as I can remember.
Yeah.
My hands would get so sweaty, they would drip. That's like my heart would pound. I would get shaky. Yeah. I couldn't think straight. I would get, you know what I mean? My stomach would hurt and all this type of stuff. And my mind would just go. And it would just be a lot of negative stuff. It wasn't nothing uplifting. I have come to a place where I have learned through calling to God and talking to God in that relationship, the strength and the tenacity to keep going further when I feel like I can't do it anymore.
That's right.
But also I have learned techniques and practices that I could put into play all day, any time of the day. And I could always call on him.
That's right.
And I'm not without him. He's inside.
That's right.
So like, if I look at myself in the mirror, I'm not saying negative things. I start affirming myself. Because I need to, because I'm like, it's an affirmation to him. I'm like, it's almost like a gratitude to him, and it's like, and if there's a time, like I had to open myself up to a way, like I would, like I said, we called Jehovah. Yeah. That was the name. And I'll still use that. Yeah. But now I versify like how I call. I'll even say Mother Nature. I'll say Mother, Father, the universe, the Creator, Allah, the Most High, like all these different names, Krishna, like anything that I feel like aligns with that message or what that's supposed to be, I call onto that because it's all everything.
That's right.
It's all
God. It's all Allah.
It's all.
It's all God.
It's all. Even if you say all.
Oh, Allah, Allah, Allah. Oh, wow.
And she said it's even strength in the fact that it's like, even if you like Jehovah, Allah, Jehovah, Yahweh, it's the at the end. It's like the breath, right? Oh. And it's like there's always an ease to it. And it's like even Tamu talks about, he has his breathwork book. And he talks about the power of breath, the techniques of breath, and how that influences your mind. You know what I mean? And where your mind is. Most of us don't breathe correctly. We don't take deep breaths.
That's right.
So if you don't take deep breaths, your whole body needs freaking oxygen, and it travels through the blood to all your different organs from your feet all the way to your head. So if you're not getting enough oxygen, how are you going to think straight? How are you going to change what you're doing? You know what I mean? How are you going to navigate life in the correct way? How is your body not going to feel like it needs to go into panic or like fight or flight mode?
That's right.
You know what I mean? How do you keep it as a place of peace? It's just like that deep breath and like holding it. And it's like all these are just different practices to put in play, because you can't really stop everything else that's going on around you. You can only control yourself.
That's right.
And if you really,
that's it.
It's like everything just takes understanding.
That's right.
Understanding. You know what I mean? If you question something and keep questioning this stuff and keep questioning it, trying to dive deeper, not with how would you say, not meeting it with like disbelief, but like with love, like, hey, like I need to know more, like I don't understand this, like how does this, explain this to me and stuff like that. It's like you'll have more doors open up to you.
That's right.
You know what I mean? In all different forms.
That's right.
They say God could change something that you've been working on for years, and he could make it happen like that.
Exactly.
But you have to open the door to him.
Got to open the door. And you got to think, there's an infinite playbook that he can give you at any moment. All the time. But you're trapped by your intention. So you're literally blocking out the infinite portals that Allah can send you at all times. So I think calling on him in those moments where you're frustrated a little bit, like, oh, it's not going my way. Be like, oh, you know what? Hare Krishna, what's up? What's the play? And then be like, okay, go this way. Go that way. And then not getting trapped by because we've had this conversation about, you're Capricorn, I'm Capricorn. We like, it's got to be like this. Got to be like this. Woke up, I have my to-do list. I got to do this in this order. So, and then when things don't go that way, that's when we feel, oh man, I'm a failure. I suck. I'm a loser. So just stop thinking like that. And then instead of going to those negative thoughts, go to Allah. Be like, what's up? What's up? Take a deep breath. What's up? What's happening? And I'm glad you we got on Krishna Talk tonight, because, that's when I go, because, there's Allah, God, Jesus, Krishna, different modes, friend, father, mother, like different attributes of him, her, whatever. So, but when I am in the mode of like, bro, I'm dealing with this, like, what's happening, bro? Like, what's up? Like, that's Krishna to me. Like, oh, what's up, Krish? What's up? What's happening? What's happening, bro? What's happening? And when it's wartime, I'm like, Allah, all right, bro, Allah, what's up? What's happening? What's happening? That's Allah. That's just me, though. And that's my relationship with Allah, with God. It's like, okay, now there's different modes, different modes for different circumstances and things in life. It's like, all right, bro, what's happening? So, but I got to get better on not getting trapped by disappointment. Initial, what's the word I use? Not intuition. The trap of my initial impulse or intention. The trap of intention. Not getting trapped by that and just pulling on him and getting in the habit. Like you get in the habit of breathing. You get in the habit of making prayers at certain times a day. So getting in the habit of just, okay, Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Taking those moments.
You remember when you were saying that when things just come to mind, that's when you're supposed to do it?
Yeah. Yes.
That's what's helped me too. Is like my mind all of a sudden would be like if my mind starts to trail and because I have trained it, right? Because we have to retrain ourselves.
That's right.
Because we've lived this life for however long we've lived it and gone through all these experiences that have told us it was one way and that was it, right? Even though there's infinite number of ways.
Yeah. At all times.
At all the times. It's Man, it's just, I finally understand like what people were talking about when they talk about the Matrix.
Go on.
Like, it just all is like, we think reality is like a Sims game. And it's like, we used to get mad at people that played outside the box. And did things. But that is not how you're supposed to do that.
That's not how you do it.
It's like,
you go
that's
to college
wrong.
for 4 years and this is what you do. And you're not playing the game right.
And it's just like, but those people are the ones that like shake things up.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Those are the ones that like start to make people kind of think differently, which is what I think that my dad was trying to tell me, or what God was trying to tell me through my dad. But, but it's like, I didn't believe in myself. So I didn't like quite understand how that looked and stuff like that. But it's just, I think it's, oh, it's a lot. It's a lot to, it's not a lot. It really isn't a lot. We think it's a lot.
When you have a track record and history and trauma with a specific individual, it's very difficult to untangle that at the same time of being like allowing God to use this person to show you where to go. Because instead of listening to God through that person, you're like, oh, I'm hurt because of this one thing that happened.
And I'm very resistant.
I'm resistant. It's very, especially family relationships, brothers, ex, girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife. It's why relationships don't work out, because there's so much tension and unresolved trauma that
and
you
unspoken words.
Yeah, that you guys can't see the God in each other. Because you're blocked by the trauma of your shared experience.
Well, that's facts.
That you both had a part in being in. Don't twist it. There's no bad guys and good guys relationships. It's just you and what you've done and how you perceive it. So, and I'm definitely talking to myself right here, because I can, I try not to play victim, but everyone has victim-like tendencies. But it's like, no, nigga, you put yourself in that situation, bro. We put ourselves in the situations, and we have to take responsibility for them. So instead of lashing out and we all know that feeling of like, no, I'm mad, you're wrong, and
I don't want to be the bigger person today.
Exactly. But then God's talking. God's over here talking. He's been talking to you. But you ain't listening because you're too butthurt. And butthurt's a hell of a drug.
Hey, it took me 3 days. It took me, but I'm proud of myself, because like I said, that could have taken 6 months to a year.
I feel you.
So the growth is real. But it took me 3 days to be like, you know what? Because every time I think about it, I would start being like, but did. And I'll be like, you know what? Like, so you're not past it.
You're not past it, bro.
You're not past it.
What's that? What the fuck?
So just sit down.
What's that got to do with right now, bro?
Oops, sorry.
What's that got to do with right now? What is your butt hurt from the past has to do with what niggas are saying right now? It don't.
And the thing is, too, it's like almost kind of what we do to ourselves as well. It's like not listening to each other.
Absolutely.
It's like at a certain point, it's like, who can scream the loudest at this point? Yeah. Who's going to bow down and allow the other person to feel what they feel that they need to feel? And it's like, but to me, that's like a boundaries as well. Like I lacked my boundary that I don't continue a conversation if there's going to be that type of energy involved, right? And like, I've done that with outside relationships, and I'm learning to do that within my family group now. And which is weird, because you would think that you would start within first, which I have. I have done things to start within, which is like seeing my children like for them and not for what I want them to be. I think that they should be, and working on like seeing my partner in that same way and giving that unconditional love, because we could be very conditional.
Yes, we can.
We could be very conditioned. You pissed me off today, so guess what? I'm not giving you hugs.
No facts.
I'm not going to say nice things to you, and whenever you speak to me, I'm going to be short with you.
Be salty.
Be hella salty. Yeah. And I'm in that process of still navigating through that, but that's got me to learn about my stress. So it's like when I'm stressed, I become reactive. So how do I navigate through my stress? Because it's not everybody else's fault that I'm stressed.
No, it's not. They ain't got nothing to do with that.
So it's everything, like I said, it's a full circle thing. So it's like as I'm building outside and starting to notice things outside, like, okay, why do my relationships keep going this way? Then I have to start coming inward. And, you know, most of us are going to be very resistant because we don't necessarily like the finger pointed at us. And I don't think it's always that we don't think we're wrong. I think that you would feel like you failed, or you know what I mean? And that's hard for you, especially, you know, as a child. Like, it sucked when your parents got mad at you or disappointed in something that you did, you know? And I think you hold on to that, and that's how you treat yourself. Mm-hmm. And I just think it takes time. I've been on this journey, like I said, I think all my life, but really intentionally been on this journey for like the past 3 to 4 years. And just recently in the past 2 years, I've really started to like understand on another level of what that looks like. And I'm very, very, very grateful for that. But that's just to say, like, even the girl that I follow on the podcast, like, she'll tell you like the length of time that it's taking her to get to this place. She was like, look, even a year ago, 2 years ago, this is not how I was. And she's like, even now, like, I still sometimes can be reactive, or I still sometimes can look at myself as just Nikki and not be the observer about what's going on. That's another practice actually that I learned.
Go on. That was powerful.
So you become the watcher. So it's not you. This took me a minute. I had to listen to this episode a couple times and listen to some
bars.
afterwards.
I feel it. It's bars.
But you are the observer, the watcher of the experience. So you would be basically, it's like you're watching through your own eyes. So you're watching how you move. Yeah. So however you're moving. So if you're acting within stress, if you're actually happy, how you're acting with your kids, how you're acting with your partner, how you're acting with other people, like you're just watching and observing how you do, right? You'll start to notice things of how you move, where you're reacting, where you're putting your energy, where you're doing, and you could start, once you get to a certain level, you could actually start putting like a pause and like ease, and like feel like you become quiet and you start to like actually watch what's going on. Yeah. Because a lot of stuff ain't what it seems.
Absolutely.
And that is something that...
Be objective to your own experience. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Watch it. Mm-hmm.
Like, watch how your body, what energy your body starts to exude. Yeah. Maybe around a certain person, right?
That's right.
How does your body start to act? How do you start to feel? What words do you start using? What thoughts do you start thinking? Like, what thoughts do you start running through your mind? How do you start to treat other people? How do you start to move through your life? Mm-hmm. And it's like, that's huge, because most of the time people are just doing, they just think that stuff is just happening.
That's right.
And it's like, that's where I think accountability comes in, when you start to observe yourself, because you start to become more accountable of yourself. And you're like, you know what? Maybe I did play a part in that. Yeah. Maybe I didn't realize that my tone that day was probably not the best.
Bit problematic.
Maybe I realized that I was having a bad day, and instead of keeping myself inside, which I had the option to, I decided to go outside. And that's why that person flipped me off at the corner.
There we go.
Because they was not having a great day either.
There we go.
And we just exchanged energy. Yeah. You know, it's just so many things to consider. I'm trying to think, like, I feel like this whole conversation for me is just about like practices.
No, absolutely.
Of like how to just, I don't know, just grow in awareness. Yeah. Just grow in awareness. It's a very beautiful thing. Yeah. It takes time though.
It takes time.
It takes time.
All disciplines and practices that are worth something take time to establish, internalize, and then become part of your ritual. Mm-hmm. Anything of value, it takes time to mine. To mine gold from the earth takes time.
You know something else that somebody told me recently, and I've heard it before. What, you heard him? Is that
It's like that. Wartime. It's wartime.
I'm on it.
Yeah. It's funny because it's like it's literally like a game. At this point where it's fun, and I'm like, oh.
I don't feel
Each
about
generation gets more smart because I've killed your grandparents and your fathers.
Oh my god! It's like somehow they transferred that on to you.
They did. It's like, oh, we see you, bro. We evolved.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah. Anyway, continue.
I have to use the bathroom.
Oh, okay.
Can we pause it?
Yeah, go
Can
ahead.
I pause? Okay.
Handle your business. Handle your business.
I'll be right back.
Mm-hmm.
Gather your thoughts. Everything.
Mm-hmm.
Thought it was gonna be cute today with my outfit, but I'm cold.
I understand. I understand. And you're back.
Right back.
And you're back. You mentioned earlier, you said the line, what does God mean to you? What does God mean to me? That's what you said. So answer that. What does God mean to you?
What does he mean to me?
Yeah. It's a deep question.
I think overall is love.
Yeah. There you go.
Like just plainly. And the more I dive into it, I'm starting to understand what love means to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it means safety. It means groundedness. It means peace. It means I always feel like I have what I need. I don't need to fear anything. I don't have fear. And not like, oh, I'm gonna be fearless. I'm gonna jump off a building without having a parachute. Not that type of not having fear, but I don't need to navigate through life or spaces in a place of resistance.
No.
Feeling like I am always where I need to be. Yeah. And there are days that I feel that stronger than others.
Yeah.
But I feel that more often now than I used to.
I understand. And
that's with my daily practices. And when I start to feel otherwise, I start to ask myself, like, why am I reverting back to this, or why am I experiencing this? I start to realize it's like I'm not doing the things that I know that I need to do. I know that work. I'm not doing my daily practices. You know what I mean? I'm not in rhythm with God. So my life is out of rhythm.
That's right.
So that's what he means to me, what the experience means to me. And it allows me the opportunity to have less judgment on myself and less judgment on other people.
Yeah.
And to take accountability and responsibility and to move within that. Yeah.
I like that. What he means to me is just be myself,
Mm-hmm.
which is him. That part. That part. I'm very much that part. I'm definitely a distinct part of God.
Mm-hmm.
So not being ashamed of it and just realizing that he's also enjoying this experience with me.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned last night on this podcast that the nature of the universe in him is to constantly expand. So if you're not expanding constantly, you're actually going against his will, going against the creation itself.
Do you know that we're made of everything? Like, we're made of the same things that stars are made of?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's so cool.
Dope. Yeah. Yeah, we're space people. We're floating in space.
Mm-hmm. Literally.
No, for real. We're space people.
Literally.
You lose that perspective being stuck here in this paradigm, but oh damn, no, we're floating around space. Yeah.
I feel like the Matrix is a lie.
Facts. And we're aliens to we're aliens to other aliens. We're aliens. You know?
Mm-hmm.
They look at us like, well, those are people, beings in other realms would be like, those are some aliens. You feel me?
Y'all strange.
Damn.
But like, so you saying that they have all the resources that they need, but they over here fighting and stealing
Y'all, wait.
and going to war.
You have,
and then
hold on. Y'all got babies getting murdered in schools? And what? Y'all are some aliens. It's real.
Beastly, bro.
Beastly.
Doesn't even make any sense.
So, but that perspective really just is like, yeah, you're not. I guess it's just a humbling perspective. Yeah, you're no better than any other thing out there. You're just you.
I think that's huge. I think a lot of people need to take that note. And like I said, this experience can come across differently for many different people. It depends on their particular journey and what they're going through and what they need to face.
Yeah.
But I think at the end of the day, the lesson is about love.
That's right.
And that we're all made up of it.
That's right.
And like I've told other people, I'm like, the fact that we even exist in itself is crazy. Because it's like, if you just take the scientific, perspective, like, we're in a floating ball, like an oblong shaped ball kind of thing.
Yeah.
In space at any time, anything could happen.
Yeah.
And all that we have protecting us, we're on the crust, and all that we have protecting us is gases.
That's real. That's dope.
Like,
it's dope.
What in your mind? How it's like? How do you not believe that there's something else?
Yeah.
Like you would have to, if you really started to think about it and allowed yourself to think about it further than your life experience.
Mm-hmm.
Further, you have to look outside your life experience. You can't just look at your life experience, because there are some people that have gone through some things that I could really see how they could be so clouded. You know what I mean? Especially if they've experienced it at such a young age and haven't had anything else outside of them tell them that anything different can be possible.
Mm-hmm.
That you have to look outside your experience to really, I think, get in touch in that place.
Yeah.
Because it'll definitely keep you there.
Yeah. And you mentioned about how you can't understand how people don't. It's hard to think if people can't. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think whatever you said earlier has a lot to do with it's difficult for people to look outside of their own experience.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it comes down to.
Mm-hmm.
It's short term or just myopic, just laser focused. This is all there is, and then just matter and all there is, and then Big Bang, and things are just like that. And what God? Doesn't make sense.
It hasn't been represented to them in their life.
Exactly.
And that's all that.
Oh, it has. They just haven't perceived it as such.
I mean, yes, but
then is it represented if they haven't perceived it?
Yeah.
You know,
it's
like,
like,
no, it hasn't been because they didn't read it as that. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. It's like Chinese. It's like, yeah, someone told you stop, don't go past this point, but you don't understand or read Chinese. So was it presented to you? Mm-hmm. It was not.
Mm-hmm. To you, it wasn't.
To you. At that particular point in time. So, and I've been there. So that's why, having been on both sides of the spectrum, I have just full understanding. It's like, okay, well, you'll get yours when it's time. And you'll either choose to accept or reject it. And that's the beautiful part, is you always have that choice at all times. And you could fight it, and people spend lifetimes fighting it. And they can, and they are afforded that opportunity. And that's the beautiful part. It's like you could be as rebellious as you want. But God is God, and expansion is expansion. So if you're not with expansion, you're just compressing yourself, and that is depression. Because if depression is compressing the opportunity of Allah's infinite will. Because you're not with the expansion, you're with the psychology of this can't happen, I can't do this. And that puts you in this contained box of possibility, which is literally the opposite of God. That's why you're depressed. Sorry, I actually don't want to speak. No, that wasn't belittling, but I'm speaking from my own experience. I don't call my experience, my trials and my feelings of sadness, of depression, I just call it, I'm just going through it right now. Right? That's it. Even this week, what's today, Wednesday? Monday, I was like, I was going through it. And my experience Monday, which was why when you said at the beginning of this episode that depression is the same feeling as ascension, I felt it on Monday. And luckily, I had enough sense to be like, okay, you know what? It's okay to feel this way. I'm going to write it. I'm not going to feel guilty about it. I'm not going to go try to do some other things to make this feeling go away. I'm just going to be like, you know what, Allah? There's a reason for this. Cool. I'll sit with it. I'll do what I can do. But it's okay to feel like this. I'm not going to make any abrupt, brash decisions from this psychology. I'm just going to sit with it and process. And sure things, like as the week came on, Allah gave me things to get more comfort with this new level. To be like, oh, okay, this is me coming out of the comfort zone. That's all it was. Now I'm in this new level, and it's I'm not saying it's comfortable, but it's just like it's different. It's nice. It's peaceful. It's more peaceful than where I was.
Which sometimes can be hard.
It is
to deal with if you're not used to it.
If you're always used to swatting flies.
Right? Oh no, I definitely used to navigate in that space where it's like I was used to one thing, and then when things started going a certain way, like let's say like a more positive way, I would be like, nah, something ain't right.
What's going on?
So I would kind of like start thinking a certain pattern, and then start to realize like the trickle down effect. And before I'd be like, you see, that's what I thought. Yeah. And not realizing like, no, you was just focusing your energy on the wrong thing. You weren't allowing. You were scared. So you were scared. You kind of just pushed everything out the way and said, no, I don't want to receive that. Yeah. So you stop receiving it.
Exactly. And you find out when you do just sit with feelings, that's when it's more likely for Allah to keep open those infinite portals. Because there are so many. And it's beautiful. It's just like driving down the freeway and seeing things and going on detours, going through like there's so much cool stuff out here. A lot of things to do. A lot of dope stuff. But if you're stuck in your routine, you're stuck in your the trap of initial intention.
I'm like, oh, okay, I can't hear it, but I was like, is it just really loud because we have the mics on?
No, yeah. He'll get his.
Oh, shoot, what were we touching?
When you sit in your feelings, that's when the portals, the infinite portals open up.
I think there's a certain way because I don't want to misguide somebody that might be going through it, because sometimes when we're going to a negative place, we can go too deep. I like to remind myself that I'm okay. Yeah. So wherever my mind is at, I'm okay. Right? So it's kind of a way for me to bring me back to my body and bring me back to a space Because even like I said today, there was a couple situations that I did not feel safe, and I had to get myself back into, been learning more about like the nervous system, the endocrine system, and how that could impact everything as well. And I hadn't eaten or really drank anything. So it's like either there's like a lot of different things you have to acknowledge in yourself of why you're having a certain experience, along with maybe outside experiences. And like I said, I started putting the mantra on, and I wasn't really didn't feel like I was in the place to be able to do it on my own. So I was playing it, and I was just grateful that I had something to play over and over again, because my mind kept wanting to wander. My mind kept wanting to respond to what was going on, and then start thinking like, oh, but what if the worst case scenario starts to happen, and start thinking about that. I'm like, no, that's not where I'm trying to go. Come back. Listen back to the mantra. It comes back. Do you hear it? It was like a calling. It was like calling me back. Mm-hmm. And that was just my way at that time to tell me like, I'm okay. And you don't have to involve yourself, or you don't have to react. You could just be here and just stay here. Like, we don't always have to be moving. We don't always have to be doing something. We don't always have to participate.
For real.
We literally can sit still and think, guess what? The energy left. Mm-hmm. If I would have participated in it, the energy would have tried to stay.
That's right.
And it could have got worse. And then I would have internalized the energy. Mm-hmm. Because that's what I was allowing in. But because I made a decision to focus on God or focus on the mantra, which, connects me to the highest source, I was able to navigate around that experience more. And like I said, that's taken a lot of time to develop that sort of relationship with him. So I just want to make that clear to people that it's not an experience that can happen overnight. There might be some people that could really focus in and get to that place a lot quicker than others. But I think you can't skip steps. You can try to, but you're definitely going to have to come back to it.
Get humble.
One way or another. Because even jumping into it is I was doing all these things and I was like, oh, my life should be good now, right? But I kept having the same type of experiences. I wasn't asking myself why I was having those same type of experiences. I was just going through them, and I just felt like life was happening to me. Right. Why? Why does this keep happening? Why? And it's like, I'm asking why in the wrong way. I'm taking myself out of the situation. It didn't have nothing to do with me. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I needed to face something. All these discomforts or... I have to deal with my comfortability with yelling. I have to deal with my comfortability with people's energy not matching mine. Mm-hmm. I have, what I mean? I have to learn how to face those things and still stand in my own, mm-hmm. and not be afraid to stand on my own, because they're standing in their own and what they believe that is their own.
Yes, sir.
So if that's the case, then I should feel that much confidence in myself. And guess what? I ask God to let me be the light. Let whatever I'm supposed to be doing, let me go into that way. And let me not have fear about going into the alignment. Let me not have fear to use the words that you try to put through me. Let me not be so resistant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Release me from all that. And it's these are different ways that I've learned to pray over time, by reading or listening to these podcasts or listening to people. I've had to go outside of my own frame of experience to really get to this place of having all these different collections of information and slotting them all in my mind and see how they all line up.
That's right.
For me.
That's right.
And it's these things, it all at the end of the day all come to the same thing, but all the roads to get there might be shaped differently.
That's right.
But I think if you, like you said, steadfast, if you keep doing it, you know what I mean? Even on the days that you don't feel like it, you know what I mean? It's like working out.
It's when you need to do it.
Exactly.
You don't feel like it's when you need to do it.
It's when you need, that's the time to push in more.
Thanks.
When you don't feel like doing it. I'm tired. Yeah. Do it.
Do it.
I'm angry, do it. I'm disappointed, do it. I'm really sad, do it. I'm happy, do it. Do it.
Do it.
and your life will change. My life has changed so much in the past 2 years.
I've seen it.
Just in myself. Me, the experiences that I've gone through 2-3 years ago, I would have been defeated.
Yeah.
I would be sitting, I probably look tired now. I need some sleep. But I would be different. Like, I would be more negative. I wouldn't be able to talk in this way.
Yeah.
Like, I probably wouldn't be talking about God. And you know what I mean? Like I would be in a different place.
You're a different being.
Definitely a different being.
And I've seen it 2 years ago. I've seen you then. I've seen you now. And I'm like, since I've seen you in specific instances, I can compare you pretty like objectively. Like, okay, I remember you 2 years ago. I remember you last year. And I'm like, oh, you're evolving. Mm-hmm. You're evolving. It's dope.
Taking practice.
Yeah, it's dope. Applying what you have sought, and what you are continually seeking. Mm-hmm. Applying it, growing, learning. Speaking on those experiences to make them more real for you, because when you give someone else the opportunity to explore and expand, more expansion comes your way, because what goes around comes around even harder. So if you're always in the mode of giving, it comes back around. So before you ask for something from the universe, you need to be asking yourself, what am I giving to the universe to facilitate that transaction that I want? Mm-hmm. You feel me? As opposed to just trying to take. Mm-hmm. What am I giving? So usually you can start simple. Okay, charity, man. Where can I donate somewhere just to start that process, right? And it's gonna feel uncomfortable. It's gonna be like, oh, I don't got the money and blah blah blah. All right. Well, if you don't got the opportunity, if you already starting off, you can't give, then you can't receive. Mm-hmm. So you're already blocking yourself from your blessings. Don't block yourself from your blessings.
That's facts.
Put yourself in pocket to receive those blessings.
I've come to the understanding as of right now that like it's an exchange of energy as well.
Exactly.
Like I had a friend tell me that the ocean took her phone. She's like, it didn't really take my phone. It splashed on it and then my phone died. I mean, like, yeah. She was like, it was, I kept going to the beach. Was asking to receive, and I was never given, I didn't give no gifts. I didn't do this and that. And I was like, well, I mean, what you could have did is exchange that energy of gratitude of being in that space. You know what I mean? Being at peace and just being there and like receiving and being there. I was like, I think sometimes that's enough as well.
That's right.
Is with that like intention. Like I do a lot of practice within, right? And then outside of myself, what I've been doing for myself, I try to do for others. So the messages that I tell myself and that I've been working on, I'll share with others when they seem like there's in a time of need. The love that I've been giving myself, when I give myself love. Not in the times when I don't, but when I give myself love, I give others love as well. Mm-hmm. And when I give others love, I see a whole difference. Like I've been able, because I've been giving myself love, I've been able to give other people love, and then I get to see God in them. I get to see a whole nother person. I thought they were this way. I thought they were ugly and mean and all this type of stuff. And then as soon as I started to love myself and put into myself, I was able to give to them unconditionally. Mm-hmm. And then I saw them. Yeah. Not for what they put up, but who they are. They are. And it's like that was mind-opening. Like that completely, and just to know that that's a possibility even shakes up the floors for me.
It does.
And I know that as I continue this path, because I've been seeking it, because of what I've been looking for, because of what I've been asking for, those things will line up more as long as I allow them to. And
absolutely,
I may not know always how they're going to come. I've had so many blessings come my way in so many unsuspecting ways. Mm-hmm. As soon as I released.
Yeah.
As soon as I had a time, it was rough. Like we have our stages, but I'm dealing with it a lot better now.
Yeah.
With a lot more grace now.
Good.
Versus before.
Dealing with what? With a lot more grace.
Financially.
Oh.
But things are like so different now because, like I said, the mindset that I have is a lot different. That I don't get crippled by certain things like I used to. But at that time, I was very much in a low place. I wasn't as deep into my faith as I am now. I had faith, but I didn't have like all the practices that I needed, or I wasn't practicing them.
That's right.
I started to feel like I was doing it, and then stuff still wasn't going the way. They still looked the same. They still looked the same. And I was just like, well, what am I doing? And then life got so much that I started getting distracted, and I just started putting my energy elsewhere. And I got to the place where we were sitting at the beach, and I was like, I don't know what to do. I think at that time I didn't have a job. I think Carlton had lost his job, and we were like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know what to do. We still need to feed our children.
Yeah,
we still need to do this. We still need to pay for gas. We still need to be able to take them to school, pay for school, and do all those things.
Yeah, facts.
And I started getting like really stressed out, and I was just like, God, like I don't know anymore. Like I don't know. I don't know. And I don't want to be mad at you, and I don't want to blame you, and I don't want those feelings to seep in, but I feel like I'm mad right now. I'm hurt. I'm sad. Why, God? And I was looking at my kids, and I just started crying, and I was just like, if what you want is for me to release it to you, I release it to you. Take it. Take it all. If I'm doing something that I'm not supposed to be, remove it. I'm done. I looked over, I think I said something to Carlton, and it probably was offbeat, and I could see his face drop, and he just looked even sadder. But I looked over my kids were playing like on the grass. They were having a good old time. Probably have no idea what mom and dad are going through. Probably could feel something, but I have no idea.
No matter.
I looked over at this woman, and I was like, God, just let somebody help us. Like something, like how do we, I need to get something for them to eat. It's morning time. It was like 7:00 in the morning. And I like looked away, and all of a sudden this lady comes up to me, and she was like, I think you dropped this. And I was like, what? And she's like, I think you dropped this. And I was like, no, are you sure? No, I didn't. And she was like, I think you dropped this.
$20.
Did I say $20?
No.
How did you know it was $20?
It was $20. $20.
That's crazy. $20. And it was enough for me to buy some fruits and stuff for the kids for breakfast.
There you go. That's God. That's God.
And it was funny because Carlton even said, he was like, I looked over at her, and I was like, and I meant the telepathy wise.
You were fighting her. No, I didn't. You were fighting her.
I was trying to be like, I was like, no. And she was like looking at me.
Right.
Even my daughters were like, Mommy, you dropped something? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know. And Carlton was like, I was looking at her like, if you have anything, please help us. And she did it so gleefully. Yeah. And I was just like, those are like blessings that we wouldn't normally see.
So you didn't drop it? She just gave you $20?
Yeah.
So she just gave you $20?
She just gave me $20.
Wow. I thought you actually did drop $20.
Nope.
Oh, so that's God.
Yeah.
Oh, he got you. So,
yeah.
Moral is, and I'm taking lessons from this, is like, he got you. But he has to pull you to those extremes to test your faith. You're like, no, okay. Now that you know this, are you able to rely on him like that constantly, to know with certainty that he's always got you, so you could actually continue your walk?
I'm growing there.
Yeah,
I'm growing to that place. And I've started to internalize it differently. I don't take it as a test anymore because it feels like a punishment.
I see.
I've started taking it as like my resistance to things and not allowing let go. All he asked, if you look in the Bible, you read, you talk to people that are like really spiritually inclined, he's just asking for you to look to him.
That's it.
Release your worries to me. Release your stress to me. Release all of that stuff to me. I take that from you. We don't give it to him. we take it upon ourselves. We keep it here and we say, this is what we deserve. This is what we want. That's what we're confirming to ourselves. When we say we can't, that's what we're confirming to ourselves.
Amen.
We don't affirm anything.
No. By no stretch.
But I lie. We are affirming something.
Yeah.
But it's not that.
No.
So it's like that again. At that time, I was saying thank you to God, but then I also started to look at, okay, where else are you helping me? Are you going to do this again? Do you get what I mean? I started to fulfill a pattern at that point, right? And then I had to get myself out of that.
I feel you.
This is why I'm saying it all takes time because you have each time you climb over something, there's something else, and you could look at that as an extreme negative thing.
Yeah.
But I'm still climbing.
It's working out.
I'm still climbing. Yeah, it's just a workout.
It shouldn't be easy. What are you doing if your workout's easy? What are you doing?
Then you're not doing it.
You're not working out.
You're not working out. So it's like he's pushing you, but it's like how they say that how diamonds are formed.
Pressure.
A lot of pressure. So if I never had anything happen in my life, I would not be able to be here and have testimony to give to other people. I wouldn't be able to be here and be an example for other people. Something to give people faith. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Some people to feel like, I could get through this. And maybe one day I'll get more comfortable with really sharing more of my story, more openly. But I'm still kind of in it. So I'm not ready.
We in it.
But
in it. A lot of people are in it right now.
A lot of people are in it. And that's a magical thing.
Everybody's in it right now.
So
it's
guess what?
Dope. It's we in it.
We in it
right now.
So guess what? That's how we come together.
Exactly.
That's how we come together. It doesn't separate us. It brings us closer.
And it's like, okay, no, we really gonna build our way out of it.
Mm-hmm. Because how else do you get people that want to fight for something else unless you're going through something that you don't like?
Facts.
Why do you think people have gone to work? Because they wanted something else.
Facts. Discomfort. Dissatisfaction. Dissatisfaction is the foundation and soil for the seeds of a new world. Mm-hmm. And we're all here. So we're going to keep it pushing.
Keep pushing.
You got anything else you want to get off?
Peace and love, y'all.
Peace. Yeah, I feel good. I'm tired, but in a good way.
Good.
I want to peacefully go
to sleep.
I want to peacefully go to sleep. Yeah. All right, we'll close this out.
I got my drive.
I understand. I got home field advantage on the podcast, which is nice. So when you're done, I do have to cut this up and download and do all this stuff, but I don't have to drive, which is nice. So that being said,
Buenas noches, yo.
I understand.
Or grand rising.
In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the most merciful. All praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the beneficent, the most merciful, and master of the day of judgment, in which we now live. Thee alone do we serve, thee alone do we beseech of your divine aid. Guide us on the right path, the path upon whom thou hast bestowed favors, not upon whom thy wrath has been brought down, nor upon those who go astray. Amen.
Amen.
You want to go?
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna.